Hello everyone, welcome back to the book show. George M. James, books like no other. Yeah, there's a lot of them too. What, 54 I think in the series, all about counterterrorism, military history, espionage. One book is actually about counter-espionage, which is something else and not the same. But anyway, whatever. Let's uh, let's talk about something interesting which comes from a book called Codename Oak 19. I actually have a copy of a book here, which is weird because I have very few copies of my own books. But this is a thoroughly enjoyable book. It's about deep diving and retrieving information out of a wreck of a sunken trawler of a spy ship about 300 feet under the water and using submarines to do it. Now, that is your perfect infiltration method. If you can just get to the submarine close and you can get your divers out to go and do whatever they need to be done. And remember, this got nothing to do with attack diving. Attack diving is very, very shallow and doesn't take place that deep. Yeah, this is a lot more in common with this blowing up of a Nord Stream pipeline, which is something we're going to discuss, I hope, in the future in detail with Navy divers on the Legacy show, Legacy Conversations, which is the main show. Really, really looking forward to that episode. But this would be the same type of infiltration technique, probably using one of these underwater vehicles, which is not known as a SEAL delivery vehicle. We wrote about that in another book called Codename Ndebele 14. That is where we look at the use of the special delivery vehicles, also known wrongly as a SEAL delivery vehicle, but whatever. We'll get to that episode when we do. Right now, we've been speaking quite a bit about Oak 19 because there's so many interesting military history which comes out of it. And one of the episodes we looked at it was the one where Sue Lobiskogny, who was the Swan and leading seaman, uh, today's probably called leading sea woman or whatever, during the Second World War, when I think on the 1st of June 1944, she blew up a U-boat, apparently. It's never proven. Some people say she did, others say she didn't. Please have a look at the video. It is quite interesting and it is discussed in Codename Oak 19. And the way she tracked this U-boat, if it was a U-boat, was by way of MAD, of what they call magnetic anomaly detector. In other words, it goes on the principle that anything which is heavy and it's got like a bait of iron or steel will have a magnetic field around it, and it will disturb the Earth's magnetic field. And then what will happen is you will know there's something there and you can investigate. And that's also how they track submarines since the 1950s. They have this long tail boom thing sticking out at the back of an aircraft. They look for these disturbances on the water or just under the water. They know there's a submarine, and then they can start investigating using various ways of doing it. Right. That is fairly well known. I think most of you, if you have any type of military knowledge, you would know where such things exist. You will also know there's another application for the word MAD in military speaking, mutually assured destruction, where two countries, nuclear powers, will not attack each other simply because if one loses, he can launch nuclear weapons. And you will never launch nuclear weapons first anyway, because your retaliation on you is going to be so severe that it will be the end of the Earth and everything on it. Now, I personally don't think the end of the Earth like that, because as a believer, as a Seventh-day Adventist, I know how the Earth will end with the return of Jesus, the second coming. If you don't know the signs and you don't know what to look for and you don't know what will happen on that day, which will happen as certain as the sun comes up tomorrow, go and read Oath of Evil, the War on Protestantism, where you will also find out that in the last few years, 50 years so, a little bit more perhaps, more than 90 million Christians has been murdered for their faith. That is basically one every 3 minutes. So if I speak here for half an hour, I think Christians would have been murdered somewhere for their faith. And it's strange that these things are never really spoken about in the mainstream media, or perhaps not at all. But I don't want to go into that now. I know the Earth is not going to end with nuclear strikes. It might cause a lot of damage, things like that. But I can tell you it's not going to end like that. Definitely not from a Bible viewpoint, anyway. So, what I found interesting is when I was writing this book, codename Over 19, is I found out that actually this mad principle now detecting the magnetic fields, that one, that was also used in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. And you have to give the second beast of the Bible, that's the US of A for you. And if you don't believe me, again, I refer you to Oath of Evil, and I refer you to the books of Daniel and Revelation in the Holy Word of God. And then you will quickly understand who is the second beast of the Bible. It's the US of A. And it gets its power from who? The first beast. And the first beast gets its power from who? Satan, Lucifer. Yes, that's written in the Bible. I don't quite understand why people get so angry when I say these things, because it's really just a warning to know what you're dealing with. It's the same as you have like a drug addict child or husband or wife. While it's under the influence of the drugs, that husband or child or wife is not the same as you know and love. It's a quite a different animal you're dealing with. And the US of today, which we're dealing with, is definitely not the US of 100 years ago or even longer ago. There was a time when we actually looked up to the US for advice and for leadership. That time is gone long ago, long ago. But read my books, you will find out quite a bit more, especially look at American Military Might Debunked, as well as codename Swan 53, or there's so many of them, codename GSSP 40. All of them will deal with what I just said to you. I can see how the US is turning into a second beast, and how it has turned. So it is becoming totally fascist. If you don't know what fascism is, kindly read my books or educate yourself. And also find out that the Catholic system, that is the first beast of the Bible. We have it on record. I'll show you the slide here, that you don't accuse me of making things up. You will find that they say that is their preferred system, it's fascism. Yeah, yeah. So they want to go back where to? All the way to the feudal states of the Middle Ages. They gonna do that? Yeah. Did the World Economic Forum, those assholes in Davos, did they not say to you by 2030 you're gonna have nothing? Did they not say that? Then you'll be happy. Yeah, you will be, because if you don't, something will happen to you. Yeah. Was it not so that during the Great Illness, the countries in the West were the most severe repression? You know, the people were locked up like criminals in their houses. Weren't all of them graduates from the World Economic Forum schools? Yeah, I think of Australia, I think of New Zealand, I think of Canada. Yeah. I think those laws are off the books, or they're still there. Yeah. Let's think about these things. But anyway, in Vietnam, the US, lost a lot of people, 58,000 men, plus minus. You hear that all the time. And it's a tragedy because it was totally unnecessary. They should not even have been there. Once again, it's a war which started because the CIA did a regime change. Yes, when they murdered, of course, to be murdered, actually elected president of South Vietnam. Also because they didn't agree to South and North Vietnam having elections to unify. Yeah, all those things. So they lost 58,000 men in a great attempt and a brave attempt to bring freedom. But of course, it would never have worked. Wrong tactics, wrong everything. But do you know that the French who were there before you. And between 1946 to about 1954, when they left after Dien Bien Phu, the disaster of Dien Bien Phu, the French actually lost anything between 92,000 men and some historians say 112,000 men. Yeah, that is French, France, the place always surrenders. It's amazing to me the lack of knowledge in the world. I mean, the French does not just surrender. They do not. They fought, and they fought well. But there's no way they could have won this. And so they withdrew. And the Americans very stupidly got involved. Based on Maglara and all those people, had this domino principle, which isn't true. It says that if one country falls, the next one will fall, the next one will fall. And therefore we have to make a stand. And you have to go and kill the yellow man, as Bruce Springsteen said in that song of his, born in the US of A. Fascinating, these things, how we all get together, isn't it? It's like in Beirut, where all those Marines died. I think it was 1984 or around about there, because they should not have been there in the first place in Lebanon. What the hell were they doing there? Then they were withdrawn after that big explosion. We hear about that all the time, but we do not hear about the French paratroopers, 58 of them who died at the same explosion. Yeah, we don't. Seems to be there's very selective reporting going on, isn't there? It seems like there's only American casualties in the world. There's nothing else. I wonder why is that. But it doesn't matter though, anyway. So in Vietnam, they came in with a great enthusiasm, which the US and the Americans are actually well known for. The only damn problem with that is the enthusiasm is directed to in the wrong direction. Not me saying it, Churchill, that Satanist, he was saying that, yeah. Don't believe me, but Churchill was a Satanist. Explain to me why he was a 33-degree Freemason. But you can't do that. Explain to me why he was a Druidic priest. Must I show you the pictures of that? Do you know that he used to say that he doesn't believe in life after death? Yeah, he said that. There's only darkness. Yeah, for him it will be. I'm right, it will be. But if you know what happens after death, or you perhaps you don't know, please educate yourself. Read Oath of Evil. We do discuss it quite a bit there, because when I lost my wife, Melissa, to death in 2014, I wanted to know what happens after death, and that's what took me on the road to find out about Walter Weiss and Seventh-day Adventism and that type of thing. And I started writing these books, and I started educating myself. And of course, once you know what happens after death, no, you don't go straight to heaven or hell. No. That is a Catholic lie. Part of the first beast nonsense to scare you. Yeah, fascinating. But guys, read that. Read that. Well, I know I mention that book all the time, and it is actually the one which is going over shelves the most, and I'm happy about that, because that is the one which can change your life around. And it's also Charles de Gaulle who said that if the US can choose between the wrong option and the right option, I'm just paraphrasing now, they will always go for the wrong option. So here you have a nation which will go for the wrong option full blood, and they will carry on that wrong road until they get punched so hard they stop. But during the way of doing that, they do come up with brilliant ideas. For instance, fighting a modern warship from the command control center, not from the bridge, but that is actually the US derived thing, military tactics. I write about that in certain books as well. I'm not sure. Might be codenamed Lucy, which is worth reading anyway. Because we look at the Chinese Navy versus the US, and we also look at the historic white Navy of the US, and we draw some parallels. I really should make a video on that as well, because it's very interesting, it's very, very fascinating, and also, the problem in life here is not really money. The problem is the US don't have any capacity to build. Yeah, you got rid of it. Your rich people, your rich ruling class, they sourced it out. But now you don't have the skills, you don't have the dogs, you don't have nothing. And so China can build 258 ships to every one you can build. Every one ship you can build, China would have built 258. Do you understand what I said to you right now? It means you're gone. It means you're gone. You'll be able to dominate a small country like Venezuela, military speaking now. Up to a point, you will lose that fight too the moment you go in. Properly, you will lose that fight as soon as the sun comes up tomorrow and you'll come running home again. But by that time, there might be other countries also involved in the shadows, doing the same what you are doing in Ukraine right now. We're waiting for a chance to do the same to you. You are warned. Telling you, we see a lot from the outside which you don't. But let's look at what they faced there. The problem in South Vietnam was there were regular soldiers coming from North Vietnam, the North Vietnamese Army NVA. They were coming south and they were supporting the Viet Cong, the former Viet Minh, who was already inside South Vietnam. So it's a political fight. It's one which an army cannot win, ever. You just can't. It is virtually impossible. The only place where they actually won, well, there's two actually. The Brits won in Kenya with the Mau Mau, the Uhuru, where very few people died. I think about 56 white people died and about a little bit more of the black people, about 2,000. Together, I regret every day. I make light of life, but it wasn't a big thing. Then also a Malay insurgency, they also got that under control. But then they got out. They got out. They walked out and they had some success. You did it. That's your problem in life. You commit, and then you stay there. You go from somebody who's just invading you like a pirate, like you do these days, and then you become a what? You become an occupier. There's a duty upon every man. It's in your DNA to resist the occupier. So that's exactly what happens with the US whenever they go somewhere to fuck up because that's all they can do. Excuse my language. It's just that is the nickname in Africa, the F-uppers. Yeah, it's sad to see. But in Vietnam, they made this discovery. They found out that the trucks coming down south on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which was, of course, not just one road. It was a whole bunch of roads and tracks and things which were coming south and also through Laos, I suppose, other countries as well. They found out that the Russian trucks, the Soviet trucks, when they were supplying them, were giving off magnetic fields. And they were doing that, these trucks now, because the ignition coils were not properly built or covered or something. And therefore, they created this magnetic field. And therefore, the US got the idea that, well, look, we can track these trucks. And if we can track them, we can destroy them, obviously, and complete air superiority in South Vietnam now. Now, it's very interesting that fellow Bat 21 who got shot down, that colonel where a famous movie came from. I think we do discuss it as well in one of the books. But that guy was actually shot down in South Vietnam, but behind enemy lines, because the North Vietnamese army was coming south in a conventional sense now. And therefore, they had to rescue him in not North Vietnam, but South Vietnam. And it really, they did very well there. Navy SEALs to go and get him really, really did well. They deserve whatever credit they got. But it is not that in South Vietnam the air superiority was challenged in any way, except now where the conventional forces were in the later stages of the war. It was not like North Vietnam. So they could afford to fly around with their C-130 Spectre gunships and escorted by Sky Raiders and whatever. And they could afford to just start searching for these ignition coils of the Soviet trucks. And so that's exactly what they started doing. They called this pave mace / black crow. That's how they called it, and started searching for these things. Now the question is, in theory, of course, this worked well, but did it work in practical terms? Well, let's see what came out in the research. No, it did not really work that well. Simply because the Vietnamese woke up to that very quickly, and so did the Soviet Union. They probably had spies in the US telling them as well, So we just covered these ignition coils, so they make them on the Western standards, and that type of thing disappeared right there. It would have been better to use the special forces in a proper way. In other words, to drop 2-man teams or perhaps 4-man teams into the jungle, round about there, infiltrate and see what they can see and spot, and then launch their airstrikes. But, I don't think there's a single US general who really knows how to use their special forces, which are, in my view anyway, very lowly rated. I don't think much of a US special forces at all. I think they are low standards. I think they are way too quick to shoot. And I think they lost touch of their real function, which is reconnaissance and not to go and murder people. The only special forces unit in the US which we rate highly is actually the US Marine Recon. We rate them very highly. Why? Because there's so few of them. They do understand actually their role. While I'm afraid to say that for the rest of you, no, really not. Again, you will be angry with me. You will probably say to me, oh, what do I know? It's not my words. On the main show, Legacy Conversations, we actually had a RSM with 34 years of experience in special forces in South Africa, which is rated amongst the top in the world, if not the best. Yeah, go listen to what those people have to say before you jump to conclusions, because you have no clue. We know everything about you. You know nothing about us. Isn't that interesting? A debater comment, he said, well, the 1990s, the Navy SEALs and the Green Berets, these people actually arrived. And we looked at them and we found them to be the same as our parachute battalion. Yeah, think about that. Same as our paratrooper battalion. Yeah. And then in my own life, I've actually seen them operating in Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. And I was astonished because I thought these guys are Mickey Mouse. They don't know what they do. And they're completely infiltrated by us. And besides that, they can't keep the little pricks in their pants. They have to go out. That's where we got them. That's where we got them compromised. And then they start killing themselves because of money they were stealing. Because they were supposed to start paying informants and from their own spy networks. Yeah. So they started stealing that money for drugs and for women and all sorts of other things, probably. Little boys too, for all I know. And guess what? They got away with that too. Yeah. But that's not something we will respect, right? We don't respect you. No, we think very little of you. So they didn't use the special forces properly in Vietnam either, in this sense now. And so they kept on with this idea that they can find it by mud. It didn't work. And so they decided to make mud. Okay, that's the other one, which is quite interesting. And I think I should make a video on that separately. So guys, if you want to read the books, look at the links. We're all here. We're all in audio. We are all in Kindle, as well as in hardcover, softcover, all on Amazon. Don't know if they are long, because they are quite outspoken. They don't bring the message of, oh, it's so fantastic. Oh, no, they say to you, you should bloody well wake up and quickly too, or you're going to lose the next war. You're going to lose. And I'm trying to save you that because I don't hate you. But the time is here that somebody tells you you're not as good as you think you are. So anyway, if that disturbs you, then it disturbs you. God bless until we meet again.